Okay, so this is the African economy plan that I created. So originally, I had created an economy plan that would unite Africa. And the idea was for all of Africa to move under one currency. And the plan I created worked. However, we have to understand the spiritual differences in Africa. And because the spirits are so completely different from each other in Africa, it is not okay for Africa to move under one currency due to the fact that it can possibly start a war eventually. In the beginning, it sounds great. Africa's under one currency is developing. However, it'll turn into a war due to extremists not accepting their neighbor or extremists just not accepting the people in charge totally. So it can result into many 9/11s occurring, as we remember that happened inside of the United States with the Twin Towers. So if Africa was to unite under one currency, there's a high chance, there's a probability that we would witness similar attacks occurring across Africa at different times, which would destroy the idea of having Africa unite. Now, so I decided to create another economy plan. This plan is completely different from the first. It is about each country continuing to use their own currency. However, we need a new currency created in every country. Now, not only do we need a new currency created in every country, but we need a second currency. Africa needs two currencies. So in every country, it needs to have its own personal currency, but there needs to be one currency that all of Africa shares. So even though if this one country is angry with another, they're not using the same currency. So they'll still have their cultural differences. They'll still have their spiritual differences because they have their own currency. So if they get angry with someone and say, hey, I don't want to deal with you, they're still able to function because they have a shared currency as well, but they have a currency where they are divided. Does that make any sense? Okay. Now let's explain how do we get this economy going. So, for instance, if we only have one country in Africa that say, okay, we're willing to participate in this project, let's use Gambia for an example. So let's say if Gambia say, okay, I want to participate in this project, how do we start? Well, I want you to start off in a rural town. I want the government to give a certain allowed amount of money and say, okay, well, this is the amount of money we have to go towards this project. I'm not going to tell you how much money this you need to have. I'm just going to ask, what do you have? And whatever you have, I ask that you set it aside inside of a separate account. Now, this is where volunteers come into play. So Gambia president said, okay, well, we have this, this is our budget we can use towards this project with restart a new economy. And so now we need 100,000 volunteers out of Gambia to say, okay, well, we understand that we're not rich. And if we want to have a great economy, we have to understand we have to work together. So now you have the economy, the new economy. And so in this small town, I want these 100,000 volunteers to take the, not take the money, I'm sorry. I want them to build homes. I want them to build nice houses. I want one architect, not many architects, just one housing architect. We want one architect that build commercial buildings, and we want one architect that does roads. So we need an architect in every department for roads, for housing, and for commercial building. The first thing I want you to do is build housing. I want you all to build beautiful housing. I want beautiful roads, and that is step one. Once this step is completed, I then ask you to build commercial buildings. So I'm asking you to build shopping stores, large shopping stores, not small ones, large, nice, unique shopping stores. You do not know who is going to use these buildings, but we need to have these buildings available. The third thing I want you to do is to build factories. So what we are doing is giving a shock to the economy in Gambia. You understand? So the shock is this. So now we have housing built, we have commercial buildings built, and now we're building factories. Now, if now understand, the commercial buildings are to go hand in hand with the factories. And so right now we're not buying things from other countries. Right now we are just self-producing. Do you understand? We're just self-producing. So for instance, we need a grocery store. Now we need a factory that is going to make let's use chicken for an example. We like to eat chicken. So now I want you to have a giant farm, and you're going to employ X amount of people to work at this giant farm, and they're going to supply this store. They're going to supply this grocery store, this commercial building that is a grocery store. Now, what else do we want in this grocery store? We want fruits and vegetables. So now I want you to have a factory that's get fruits and vegetables put together. I want you to have a factory that puts what chips, drinks, whatever Gambia produces food wise. You need to have a factory for that food. So now you are self-sufficient. So now every food that you can create, you are now selling in this commercial building. I understand you do not create everything. And so when you bring things from other countries, they're all going inside these commercial building, this grocery store. Now, here is how we do the true shock to the economy. In Gambia, they use dollar seeds. Right now, we're going to understand dollar seeds is what is currently used in Gambia. But inside of this rural community that we have decided to develop, we're not going to use dollar seeds. We're going to create a new currency that only operates in this small rural community. Do you understand? So this currency does not work anywhere else in Gambia. It only going to work in this small rural community. So now the people that work at the factories, they're not receiving dollar seeds. They are receiving this new currency that only resides in Gambia. Now, with these factory jobs, these new factory jobs that are sitting in Gambia, the thing is this: they only can use the money at the grocery stores, at the new grocery stores. They can only use the money to live inside of the brand new housing that has been built. You see, what we have done was give you an entire new economy plan. So let me give a full explanation over this because I don't want you confused by anything I'm saying. So I'm in Gambia and I'm visiting Gambia, and I understand that Gambia has two currencies. One is dollar seeds, and one is a new currency that right now we're going to call red. We're just going to call it red currency, and you have dollar seed currencies. And so if I want to go shop in this new currency place, I have to take dollar seeds and have them turned in and receive red currency. That's probably a horrible name. I'm going to come up with a different name throughout this conversation eventually, but right now just stick to the currency name being called red. So now I work at a factory in this new economy. And so I want to go grocery shopping. I want to go clothing shopping. And so what you're doing is I want you to create a factory for clothing. I want there to be someone that make clothing. So now we have clothing stores. We understand we love furniture. So I want a factory that does furniture. I want factories for food in the beginning, for the small economy, I want factories for food. I want factories for clothing. I want factories for furniture. And I also want you to come up with one thing that is completely different. I want you to come up with a different electronic. I want you to come up with an electronic that you can sell in Gambia. For instance, cell phones. I would love for you to create your own cell phone. And so now inside of Gambia, in this new place, if someone needs technology or a cell phone device, hey, I can go to this economy and buy what I need. So now here is the downside, because of course there's pros and cons in everything you do. The con is this: if you have a job inside of this new economy, your money cannot be transferred into dollar C's. So if someone is a resident of Gambia and they want to shop in the new economy plan, they can transfer their money from dollar C's to the red currency, but the red currency cannot transfer into dollar C's. Why? We are eliminating the ability to be able to transform the new currency into dollar C's, because we are attempting to strengthen the new currency. So after you have developed housing, shopping, and factory jobs related inside of this new currency, you're going to understand that the people in this new development will become wealthy. They'll become wealthy. They will have housing. They will have food. They will have everything they need. Now, this is a small town. So as this small town gets up and start producing income and start showing repetition of being able to be self-sufficient, I asked the small town to grow. So now let's say the president in Gambia said, well, this new area is performing very, very well, so we're going to expand the new currency. And so now you do not want to expand the new currency too fast in Gambia, because it can fall. It has to be expanded slowly. So once the economy starts growing and once all the houses have sold, we ask, I missed a step. Banks. So you need a bank created. And this one bank is for the new currency only. And you are now giving people housing. You are giving everything people need. You are all using this one bank that use the red currency. Now, when you have this everything developing, you have people that have bought houses and they're living inside of their new home. Now you can expand the new horizon. You can expand the new economy. Slowly. Do not move fast with this plan. Move slowly and steady. So now as the new economy expands, build more housing, build more factories, build more shopping centers. So what I'm saying, you have to build them in clusters. So if you have one area that is completed and everything is functioning fine, then find another area that is nearby, as close as you can to the new development, and expand out that way. You see, with doing this plan, it will make Gambia currency, the new currency, very, very strong, because you're not having to depend on outside sources for income anymore. Because I understand in Africa, the currency is not strong in many different countries across Africa, and you're having to depend on other country currencies to be able to buy houses in Africa. Teachers, people that have jobs, these houses that you are building, you are not building for the outsider. You are building these houses for people that actually live inside of Gambia. So the red currency, I will put this in writing, this part, what I'm about to speak about now. The red currency, it needs to be strong enough for a teacher that works in Gambia to be able to buy a house. It needs to be strong enough for someone who owns a business to be able to buy a house. I want this currency to be mainly focus on the citizen and not on the tourists. The tourists will still come, but you do not want an economy that is only circulating when tourists are around, because it means that you have built an economy, you have built housing for people that don't belong inside of the country. You have built restaurants for the for people that don't live in the country. And so what we're doing is building a new economy for the people that actually lives inside of the country, the day-to-day citizen in Africa, the soldier, again, the teacher, from the many different career fields. We need people that have went to college in Africa to be able to see their degree in money. Do you understand? So now that is the pretty much basic topic that I want to offer to Africa. Now understand, this plan will work anywhere throughout Africa. It will work anywhere. In any country in Africa. It doesn't matter how poor the country is. It does not matter, because you're building everything for free. And so the government is only paying for the materials, but you have 100,000 volunteers that are contributing to building this country. Thank you.